Good morning, EagleNick Audits. I am EagleNick. Now, this morning when I went out for that there breakfast, I had a little run in with not actually a run in, but I think he was actually recording EagleNick Audits. I had a encounter with a Georgia State Patrol, and if you are watching, sir, I hope you have a blessed day. Now, EagleNick Audits was on the public right-of-way, the public access, the whole time that he was recording you in the performance of your duty. But I hope everyone is having a blessed day. Now, it took about 14, 15 hours for my last live stream to ever process and upload. Now, EagleNick can't understand why it would take so long for my live stream to process and upload when I have not made any changes to the settings on the phone or on the videos, the live stream, when I'm actually live streaming, and I was connected to my internet the whole time. I had no interruptions with my internet, so I really do not understand why when I do a live stream, sometimes they do not want to process and upload. Now, after all that time, like I said, it took over 14 hours for my last live stream to process and upload. YouTube put ad suitability on it again, stating that the content was not suitable for all of their advertisers. And by stating that, that means that the video could have limited to no monetization. Now, EagleNick does not remember saying anything that should have been offensive to anyone. I do not understand why YouTube wants to censor EagleNick Audits. When I talk about the United States Constitution, when I talk about the United States of America, and when I talk about the red, white, and blue, this country is a country that I love. I was born and raised here. I was country raised and country fed. And when I die, I'll be country dead. You know what I mean, Vern? How's everyone doing this morning? I've not seen anybody chatting yet. We're showing we've got 40 people in here. Good morning to everyone. Maybe all 40 is some type of law enforcement officers, and if you are, I pray that you all have a blessed day. And we just picked up 10 more people in the chat. I see we have 50 watching, but I have yet to see anyone say a thing to EagleNick Audits. But EagleNick was saying, I had an encounter this morning with a Georgia State Patrol officer. I actually had seen one Georgia State Patrol in the parking lot at the Walmart neighborhood market in Dalton, Georgia, right off Walnut Avenue, and I was recording the car sitting there running when the state patrol officer came out at the red light and turned left onto East Walnut Avenue and recorded until they went across the bridge and was out of sight. Now, I walked back from the sidewalk back to the little store that separates Brahman's Plaza North from Brahman's Plaza South, and it went in the store for no less than maybe 5 minutes. Now, when I came back out and I got on my bicycle ready to leave, lo and behold, there was a Georgia State Patrol sitting on the south side of Brahman's Plaza with his vehicle pointed directly in view with EagleNick on its bicycle parked at the edge of the curb by the store. Now, when I left the store, I rode directly across to the parking lot, Brahman's Plaza South, which is the way I was going, and I parked my bicycle so that I could exercise my First Amendment rights to record a public servant, a law enforcement officer, in the performance of their duties. Now, I figured that the Georgia State Patrol officer was watching the traffic. Good morning, that. How you doing, that OSD? OSD, that OSD. How are you doing? I'm doing good, and I was talking about a Georgia State Patrol officer that I encountered this morning. Now, I have uploaded the video onto my YouTube channel, so if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, share, and comment every single video that you can and will. And make sure to leave me a comment on this here live stream when it is processed and uploaded. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Now, I had parked my bicycle up the parking lot a good distance from where his direct line of view was of the Georgia State Patrol officer. I'm smoking a 24/7 Red 100 cigarette at the very moment, but I have let it go out. Then I proceeded back down the side of the parking lot closest to the road, which is public access, the public right-of-way, and proceeded to start recording the State Patrol officer. Now, I recorded him for a few minutes, and it went all the way over to his far right and was recording the passenger side of his vehicle, when for one reason or another, the said State Patrol officer pulled up through the parking lot and did a little turn to where he was facing directly at EagleNick Audit's bicycle. Now, I sat there for just a minute recording him from a distance, but I walked up to where I could get a direct view, and it was like, and I'm pretty sure that he had on his camera, his dash cam, and he was recording EagleNick. Hello, Ad, how are you doing? Marvin Page, glad to see you. Muhammad, glad to see you again. But he was actually doing a cam back with his dash cam and not a cell phone. Now, EagleNick Audits had stepped over to the right to where I was looking at the driver's side of his vehicle. Some people call it a vehicle. I call it a vehicle. But anyway, I had stepped to the right so that I could record the driver's side of the State Patrol vehicle, car number 623, when the State Patrol officer, no, I'm from Dalton, Georgia, Dalton, Dalton, Georgia. I do not think that, that's okay, Marvin Page. You can say that I don't sound very intelligent, but you can't tell just by what somebody's voice sounds like, how they talk. EagleNick Audits is a hillbilly, and I do not conform to the norm. Now, any of my moderators that's in here, please do not put anyone in timeout, and do not hide their comments. If there are comments that are said that has to be reviewed, unless it is offensive to everyone or a certain group of people, I do want the comment to be showed. I don't care what they say about EagleNick, because you've got to realize there's a lot of people that I make them sick. But that is all right, because it is free speech. They can say what they want to say each and every day about EagleNick Audits, because that is okay. But when they start talking stuff that gets too harsh and way too rough about a group of people, or they are just trying to cause division among we the people, EagleNick Audits will take care of it himself. I can promise you that I will show them the business end of my Crocs, which I wear without socks. You know what I mean? But now what I was saying is that State Patrol, when I moved over where I wasn't directly in line with his dash cam, he turned his wheels to where his dash cam was directly facing me, like he was trying to get EagleNick Audits on camera. But hey, that is okay. Maybe he was wanting to put EagleNick on his YouTube channel today. You know what I mean? Now, I could have went up there and told him and asked him if he was recording EagleNick while he was performing his duty. And if he had said yes, then I could have went to the Georgia State Patrol and I could have did a Freedom of Information Act public records request and obtained his video that he had obtained of EagleNick Audits, because it is public record, and it was a record of EagleNick exercising his constitutional rights. Thank you there, Mr. Good Time. I really appreciate that. Yes, please, if you will, please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share every single short video and past live stream. And when you watch them, all I ask, if you will, please, to let the ads play. Now, EagleNick is getting it worse a little bit more every day, that I am running into a different situation because we are living in such a corrupt nation. Now, it's looking like that I may have to try to get my own legal defense, because I have yet to hear from the public rear ender's office. Some people call it the public defender's office, but EagleNick calls it the public rear ender's office because all I have ever seen a public rear ender public defender do is try to make sure and to ensure that the people they are supposed to be defending ends up with a real bad rear ending. It is like they have two prosecuting attorneys up against them, one to each side, and that is not how it's supposed to be. If you cannot afford a lawyer, you're supposed to have a counselor, a defense appointed to you, which EagleNick audits seeked and got. But like I said, I have not heard a single solitary word from my so-called public defender. Now, they've got my telephone number. They know my address, but they just not care because they're not doing their best. Now, Mr. Public Defender or Madam Public Defender, whichever I was appointed, y'all need to get on the ball and do your job. Y'all need to be filing some motions. Y'all need to file a motion for discovery to find out all the evidence that they have against EagleNick audits, which is non-existent. To begin with, they obtained my name illegally to put on the so-called arrest warrant that EagleNick audits was never shown nor ever served. Now, they also came on to my private property without a warrant in hand. Now, an arrest warrant does not give them the legal authority to come on to private property to arrest you, especially when my legal residence is where you are looking out of now. Now, I happen to be on the property out on the corner that me and my family co-own. Now, I stated to Lieutenant Locke, do not step on to my property at least 3 times. And at the beginning, he honored my command because my command was never a request at any time. My property down there is clearly posted. No trespassing, private property. Now, for them to come on to private property, they would have to have obtained a search warrant on top of an arrest warrant. An arrest warrant is not a blanket warrant. It's not a blanket warrant to where they can just come onto your property and search and arrest you. A search warrant and a arrest warrant are 2 totally different types of warrants. Now, my public defender, when you obtain that information, you need to file a motion to suppress that there evidence, that there warrant that they obtained, because they violated my 4th Amendment rights for an illegal search and an illegal arrest for coming onto my property without the arrest warrant in their hand, for one. But number 2, and most importantly, they did not have a search warrant. Now, y'all are supposed to know the law. Y'all are supposed to know and uphold the United States Constitution. No, Bobby Bishop, I'm not wrong. I'm sure you are kin to Mr. Lieutenant Bishop with the Dalton Police Department. And if you're not, it must just be a coincidence, which EagleNick audits does not believe in. And you may actually be Mr. Lieutenant Bishop yourself. But if you are, how are you doing today, sir? Because I do not answer questions and I do not identify. I do not answer questions, which is my Fifth Amendment right. And I do not identify, which is my Fourth Amendment right. Can you hear me now? Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? You remember when you was asking me so many times, do I understand? And you stated unequivocally when I said that I was performing a First Amendment protected activity, which is freedom of the press. You stated unequivocally that I was right, that it is a First Amendment protected activity. Yet you showed your ignorance and your complete lack of respect for EagleNick when you started trying by cop-splaining to tell EagleNick why you were taking away my First Amendment rights. You, sir, cannot take away the rights granted to me by the United States Constitution. The Congress nor the states shall pass laws that infringes on the United States Constitution or the constitutional rights of we the people of the United States. So how do you think a state law can supersede the Constitution when it clearly says in the Constitution that the Congress, which is our federal government, neither shall the states pass laws that infringes on the Constitution or the constitutional rights of we the people. Now, you kept stating that I was trespassed, so I asked you, I said, is there not supposed to be paperwork associated with that? I said, there's usually paperwork. And I said that because you said I had been disrupting business. EagleNick is not illiterate and I'm not stupid. Disrupting means I would have been standing in the way, stopping the normal business from being allowed to go on, where people was going up to the counter, buying stamps or mailing letters or mailing packages. Now, I stated to you flat out that that was not true, that I had it all on record, all on recording, that I was off to the side. And when I asked you about there's not supposed to be paperwork with that, you said, oh, there'll be a police report. Do you got an ID week? And I said, I do not answer questions and I do not identify. And that is when your pride got hurt just a little bit more. And I'm very sure your bunghole got sore, because that is when you turned around and you started telling flat out lies to EagleNick audits by stating and making false statements against EagleNick. You said because I had been threatening that I was being trespassed from private property. Now, if I had been making threats when you tried to walk all the way up on me to do the old classic bump and arrest, which you was going to try to do until I backed up and said, you don't have to get right up on top of me, and told you don't get so close to me. You know, that is the moment that your pride was hurt, and it just got worse the longer we had our little chat. You know what I mean, Burn? No, sir. Georgia is not a stop and ID law for pedestrians, and per the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, we the people have the right to be safe and secure in our person, property, papers, and effects. You know, your papers would be your driver's license, your social security number, your birth certificate, but your person happens to be your name. Now, when you are not breaking any laws, you do not have to tell them jack squat. But the First Amendment, one of the tenets, which is free speech, says that you can tell them whatever you want to as long as you do not use fighting words. Now, EagleNick audits did not get disrespectful at any time, but I do not like somebody standing there lying to my face because they are allowed to, just because they are wearing a shiny badge and a firearm on their side. That does not make it right. That does not take away the constitutional rights or the protections afforded to every citizen of the United States under the United States Constitution. You can say what you want to say, but EagleNick Audits knows. But like I said, it made him mad, and his blood was boiling. But he just kept on and kept on that I just let him run it because I didn't want to hear it no more. And if you will watch the video, you will clearly see that Officer Cruz, who was standing behind him, every now and then he would have a smile come on his face. He tried his best not to let it get too wide, but he was trying his very best not to bust out laughing at Lieutenant Bishop. Bobby Bishop, no, I will not be convicted. But if I am, that just opens up more lawsuits. That opens up lawsuits against the state of Georgia, seeing how they are trying me in the Superior Court of Whitfield County on a Class B misdemeanor criminal trespass damage of $500 or less. Now, Georgia law states that a person commits the offense of criminal trespass when they knowingly stay on the property of another. That means private property. This property you're looking out the window of right now at the Eagle's Nest has signs posted that says, no trespassing, private property. Now that is private property. The United States Post Office, no matter where it is located, is open to every single person in the United States of America to freely walk inside 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if where you are right now, it happens to be midnight, it is open as I speak. You know what I mean. Because other than the fact that trespassing has to be on private property, to be convicted of criminal trespassing on public property, you have to have committed a crime first, which would make the charge of criminal trespassing a secondary offense. Now, criminal trespass damage of $500 or less means that I would have had to commit some kind of damage to said property. Now, all EagleNick audits ever did was exercise my constitutional rights to record at the United States Post Office in downtown Dalton. And all of my videos proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that I never did any damage at any time. A recording is a record of exactly what went on. We don't need none of that he said, she said stuff, because EagleNick has all the proof he needs right where he needs it to be. You know what I mean, Burn. They can say anything they want to say, but they can't prove what they're saying, but I can prove what I said. And it just makes them mad. I am an independent journalist, Poster 7, which is now posted in 4 locations at the United States Post Office in downtown Dalton, clearly states that taking photographs and recording is allowed in entrances, foyers, corridors, lobbies, and auditoriums that are used for public meetings. Period. Now, that is the end of that part that clearly says that it is allowed. There is a Department of Homeland Security memo that says they have to have Poster 7 posted in every single federal building. That includes all post offices, all federal courthouses, anywhere the federal government has any type of office. Now, it goes on to say that taking photographs in other areas, you have to have special permission from the postmaster or the installation head. That means who would be over that there installation. And for your information, if you are not bright enough to get the gist or the meaning of what that says, in other words, for you to go back in the back to record where they sort the mail, to go back in the back parking lot where they have the mail trucks parked, you have to have permission. But anywhere that is accessible by the public, you can take photographs and you can record 24 hours a day. You know what I mean, Vern? What is up? Rich Saves America. So glad to see you. Obviously, Bobby Bishop, you're just a big idiot and you're just trying to cause trouble, but EagleNick don't care. You spew anything you want to spew out of that mouth. I can read just fine. I just told you what it says. I know I had 4 posters put up, one on both doors that comes in, the north door, the south door, the front of the post office. One that goes into the lobby where they actually work. And one back there in the display case where they are supposed to display all legal notices. I know what I'm talking about, but I know you ain't got a clue. Good morning, Alan Davis. How are you doing? So glad to see you. Well, I called a lawyer that says that if you've been charged with criminal trespass, to give them a call. But when I told them what it was about, they said, well, because of the distance, which is no more than 40 to 50 miles away, that they're only handling felony cases in Whitfield County. Now, it is all because of the simple fact they do not want to intertwine themselves in anything that has to do with violating people having their constitutional rights violated, because they know that the city, the county, and the state could end up coming after them, not to do anything to them legally, but just to harass and intimidate them because they chose to take said case to defend someone's constitutional rights. Now, the law office was located in Canton, Georgia. It was Carlisle, Poole, and something other. I don't remember what the other one was. But EagleNick says if they didn't want to take the case for EagleNick, all this, then EagleNick didn't need them to defend me anyway, because they ain't no good, is all I can say. If they didn't want to open and shut case where my video shows the proof that I never trespassed, that I never committed any crimes, the only crimes that were committed was by the police lieutenant Jason Bishop, who is probably kin to that Bobby Bishop that we have in here running that big old mouth. And like I said, it may be Bobby Bishop himself. Yeah, I know, Mr. Officer Bishop, you didn't violate my rights, did you? My rights were violated, which is oh so wrong. You know what I mean, Vern? But I love you all, and I'm so glad that you're all here. No, my video will not convict me, Bobby Bishop. My video is vindication that proves EagleNick all this. As a citizen of this here nation, I was standing up for my constitutional rights, no matter how hard them corrupt and crooked public servants fights. EagleNick did not break no laws, but they have broke laws all the way around. That is because most of them are nothing more than a big old clown. You know what I mean, Vern. You can take that to the bank. All they are doing is opening up more lawsuits because they had their feelings hurt, and they was acting as feelings enforcement instead of the policy enforcers they are supposed to be, which is what a police officer is. Please, Mr. Police Officer, go out and enforce your policies that you are supposed to be enforcing, because I didn't break no laws. I didn't commit no crimes. The only crimes that happened to have been committed was against EagleNick when y'all illegally arrested me, when y'all trespassed on private property without a search warrant, when you violated my Fourth Amendment rights by stealing my phone out of my hand when you did not have a warrant for my phone, when you violated my Fourth Amendment rights, when you arrested me without having a search warrant or showing or serving a an arrest warrant, you violated my 14th Amendment rights, which guarantees me equal protection under the United States Constitution. You know what I'm talking about? Because I sure do. Now, I also know that the 6th Amendment to the United States Constitution says that I have the right to confront my witness, the people who is saying that I did. I have the right to confront my accusers and to compel them to testify. That means I have the right to see them face to face and make them get up there on the stand and perjure themselves if they so choose to get up there and to continue to tell those lies that they have been saying about EagleNick. All this. And let me tell you this, when a public servant perjures themselves, they go on the Brady Gigolo list that lets all prosecutors, all courts, anywhere in the United States of America know that they are untrustworthy, that their testimony cannot be used in court. Period. Not at all. And if they try to get up on that stand and say that EagleNick all this committed any crimes, that is exactly what they will be doing. They will be committing perjury, which is a federal crime, on top of violating my constitutional rights. Because I will have you to know, Mr. Bobby Bishop, that criminal trespass is a state law. But like I said, the United States Constitution is the law of the United States, which is a federal law that all public servants, especially police and law enforcement officers and people who works in the court system, has swore an oath that they would stand up for the United States Constitution and that they would stand up for the rights of we, the people. Stand up for our rights, not try to violate them. Now, this is going on a little bit too long. We got somebody want to keep on running that old mouth. And Bobby Bishop is probably Lieutenant Bishop himself, or maybe one of his relatives, because, you know, like I said, it was Lieutenant Bishop was the one. If you will watch the video, you can see the video from inside the post office before I went outside and had the encounter with Officer Cruz. Then Lieutenant Bishop shows up, and then Officer Andrews shows up. The lady in the post office asked me, where was I? Why wasn't I there the day before with a big smile on her face? Because she wanted me to come in there the day that the postmaster was there. But EagleNick Audits is a very intelligent man, and I went up there on the Sabbath to exercise all 5 tenets of the First Amendment, which is freedom of the press, free speech, freedom of religion, freedom to assemble, and the freedom to redress my government with my grievances. Now, when Lieutenant Bishop violated my constitutional rights, forcing me to move my audit across the street, I did not leave. I left the post office property on that side, which the post office does not own, considering it was, and always will be public property. I moved across the road and I recorded all 3 of those police officers leaving. You can see that video as well, except for the first part where I recorded Lieutenant Bishop leaving. I somehow had deleted that video. Like I said, I've deleted videos not knowing that I didn't have it already saved to where I could upload it back up. And I've lost 1.8 million views and 1,800 watch hours. Now, in the last 28 days, I have got over 10,000 watch hours and over 1.6 million views and picked up like 2.8 thousand subscribers and 1,000 the month before. So I'm fast approaching 3,000 new subscribers in the past 2 months. And it's all because of awesome people like y'all. Now, if you will check out the description on my YouTube channel, you will see that I have added my Cash App because, like I said, it looks like I'm going to need to hire a real lawyer to have a real defense. But I love you all so much, and I thank you for being here. As always, I'm EagleNick Audit, and I hope I'm speaking loud and clear. Now, I know the loud part is there, but I don't know about the clarity. And if you send any money to EagleNick, believe me, it's not charity, because it won't just go in my pocket. It will go to the need. Because when you got a lawyer, brother, you sure do got to feed that kitty. You know, if you don't have money, you cannot get a good lawyer. And if you have to depend on the public rear-ender's office, the public defender's office, you might as well just bend over and kiss your own butt goodbye. But I thank you all for being here. Hello, Calgary. How are you doing, brother? Everybody, please make sure to check out Calgary Community Watch on YouTube, Northwoods Press on YouTube, Mad Lab Press on YouTube, NH Mountain Girl on YouTube. Check out all of my subscriptions. You will see that EagleNick has an awesome amount of subscriptions to some of the best YouTube channels that there happens to be out there. Flex Your Freedoms is another. I can't remember them all. But I ask you, just check out my subscriptions. They are public. And you will see that EagleNick Audit is not only the place to be, but it is the place to look that you can find a bunch of good new channels if you've not already subscribed to them. Now, once again, let me state, if anybody would like to make their own or have made an EagleNick Audit t-shirt, feel free to do so. Just make sure, if you don't mind, to make sure EagleNick Audits is spelled the same way I do. One word, capital E, capital N, capital A. And on the back, I'd love for it to say, this is EagleNick Audits. I am EagleNick, and I'm out. But like I said, if you would please, if you hadn't already, please subscribe, like, share, and comment on every video and short and past live stream that you can. And when you watch my shorts, videos, and live streams, I asked you if you would please to let the ads play so EagleNick audits can make a few pennies every day directly from YouTube and those advertisers who places the ads with YouTube, who places the ads on content. Now, I love you all like no other, and I consider you all my sister and brother. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. And I'll see you on my next live stream, because there will be another. EagleNick audits. Thank you, Brett C. Whoa, looky there, $20. Whoa, look at that, Brett. Thank you so much, sir. Oh, man, you are so awesome. Thank you, sir. Look at that. $20 super thanks. But Brett, EagleNick audits, thanks that you are super. I think that every one of y'all is super duper. But make sure you watch the video of that there Georgia State trooper. You know what I mean? Because he act like he was wanting to make sure that he got a good video of EagleNick. Now, like I was saying, I really do appreciate it, Mr. Brett. And I love y'all all, but I'm going to have to end this here live stream because that lunch is starting to call. I got to get ready to head out on that there bike and go up to Providence Ministries for the good old lunch that I like. I love you all. You take care of yourselves and take care of each other. EagleNick audits. I am EagleNick, and I'm out. Damn, I'm glad I didn't leave when I started to. I was fixing to leave, man.